you are right now want to be more successful. Okay. So why aren't you? What's stopping you? So I've asked that question to the 3 million readers in Success Magazine, stages all over the world. Let me clear up for you what I keep hearing as the #1 myth for why people say they are not more successful than they are right now. First of all, how many of you had a very nice, normal, and happy childhood? How many? Wow, okay, a lot of you. Huh. Well, good for you, okay? Because my childhood sucked. And my parents, they divorced when I was 18 months old. And my mother, she didn't want me, so she just gladly and very enthusiastically handed me over to my father. In fact, when she first found out from the doctor that she was pregnant with me, her reaction was disappointment and anger. And then when I was born, and they decided to split, she just handed me over. So my father at the time, you have to know, was only 23 years of age, okay? He didn't know what the heck he was doing either. He had just moved from the San Francisco Bay Area to what seemed like the middle of nowhere, Albuquerque, New Mexico, to take a job. I know, Presbyterian Hospital, my Bethlehem. He took a job as an overworked, underpaid university football coach. And so it was just he and I out there by ourselves with him trying to figure it out. So this was his parenting philosophy. He would just shove me in the corner of a couch, barricade me with pillows to try to keep me and put headphones on my head to try to keep me quiet. You see the stunned look I had on my face? I had that most of my childhood. It became, you learned really quickly in life that you kind of had to fend for yourself. To say my dad wasn't the nurturing type is almost comical. He was known affectionately around our house as a bit Neanderthal, and he actually parented like he coached football, which meant there was no whining, no crying, no excuses, lots of yelling and lots of cursing. In fact, do you remember the movie Full Metal Jacket? Sergeant Gunnery? That could have been my father's twin, and I basically grew up in the boot camp, so to speak. And my father, he was infamous, let's say, for one of his coaching philosophies, and that was no matter how hurt a player got on the field, they were not allowed to come out of the game during the game. And so one time this linebacker just gets smashed in the middle of the field, wobbles to the sideline, begs my dad to take him out of the game, and my dad grabs him by the face mask, the teeth clenched, spitting through them, "Not unless you're showing bone." And he pulled back his shoulder pad, and out from his neck skin was sticking his collarbone. So anytime any of us kids said, "Dad, we're sick, we can't go to school," he'd yell from the other side of the house, what? Not unless you're showing bone. And we'd have to drag our sorry butts out to school. When I was 4 years of age, he married my stepmonster. Did not mispronounce that. And they went on to have 2 other children, and because in her eyes I was of the other woman, she did everything she possibly could to try to ostracize me from the family at every turn. I was literally a redheaded stepchild. And you can see my father cut my hair, which I think I suffer more emotional trauma from than anything else. Now I tell you all this to tell you this. I stand before you this morning as the high-functioning achiever because of this highly dysfunctional childhood. You see, because I had to get over these issues of abandonment is the reason why I'm so vigorously self-reliant. Because I had this football coach, Neanderthal-like father is the reason why I'm so driven. Because you had to achieve in order to get any love or attention in our house is also the reason why I'm so goal-oriented and ambitious. You see, these are the training tools that have helped me build the muscles that I have today in order to accomplish the things that I've been able to accomplish. You see, a lot of people look at their past as wounds that they need to heal from, right? When in actuality, they're muscles that you develop. See, how do you develop a muscle? I'm talking to Beachbody. How do you develop a muscle? You put it under incredible stress and strain, over and over. Stress, strain. You're actually tearing the muscle fiber. And then in rest and recovery, it grows back bigger than it was before. Which means the next time you could lift heavier weights, you could do greater things because you've had that muscle development. Now you can go and do extraordinary things that ordinary people just can't do. So the first key lesson for you here is to understand that your adversity is in fact your advantage. And I hope that your childhood sucked. Or I hope something in your life has really been tough, difficult, strainful, and stressing, so that you can grow the muscles that you need to go do the extraordinary things ordinary people can't do. You see, my mentor, Jim Rohn, said people carry their past around like a billy club that they just keep beating themselves over the head with. when in fact that was the training ground to give you the development necessary to go do extraordinary things. So I've been asked to come here to talk to you about how to ignite the principles of the compound effect. Even if you've read the book, how to ignite those principles so that you can lay a clear path in front of you, connect the dots, and get the kind of results that you're truly capable of. Unleash that true potential so you can do those extraordinary things. So I get asked the question all the time, what was the premise? Why did I decide to sit down and write this book? And it was really when we first took over Success Magazine, and I started looking at the culture and society around us to try to figure out what is it that's hindering people? Well, what's stopping them from being able to realize this greater potential that they've got? And I realized that our society and culture is misleading, bamboozling, fooling, and tricking people on an ongoing and regular basis. You see, we're constantly bombarded with ever increasingly sensational claims to get rich, get fit, get younger, get sexier, all overnight, with very little effort, for only 3 easy payments of $39.95. And these marketing gimmickry messages are taking people who have a sincere interest in what does it take for me to provide more for my family? So that I can become healthier, so that I can grow and do better and experience the life that I was designed to live. And they're constantly being derailed and distracted by these messages. And we all know that there is no secret formula to it, right? There's no silver bullet, there's no magic pill, and for God's sakes, people, there's no freaking secret. That's been buried for 2,000 years by some covert society and only unearthed recently for worldwide revelation. So now, you can just sit on your couch and just imagine checks coming into your mailbox. As my father would say, "Are you shitting me?" That's not how it works. You see, I do think that there is a new secret, and I've decided to hear on this stage, I'm going to release the new forgotten secret the last 20 to 30 years of what it takes to actually earn success. And it's 3 little words. Hard freaking work. That's the only thing that's going to cause anybody to become successful, get fit, get healthier, and experience the kind of life that they're capable of. The truth about earning success is this. It is mundane. When you go back to your offices on Monday and you start building your business and talking to people, what you've got to do is awfully mundane. It is unexciting. Nobody's going to film you building your business and start some new fantastic reality TV show because it's so amazingly exciting. No, it is unsexy, no matter what the commercials will show you. It is frustrating, and sometimes it's heart-stomping, gut-kickingly defeating. But hey, that doesn't make for interesting books, or exciting infomercials, or riveting movies. So yet we're paraded with all these other shiny objects and illusions about the pathway to success. So one of the first important messages that I want to convey to you is this. Truly, stop looking for the quick fix for success, happiness, and health. Woo! There is no shortcut. There are no cliff notes. There is no quick fix. And quite frankly, if there's an organization that knows it, it is this organization. They ask me, do you do any of our programs? I'm like, are you kidding me? That stuff's way too hard, man. Insanity. Here's how it works. Success is earned one day at a time. Every day you lift your head up off the pillow. You decide that day whether you are a success or mediocre or a failure. Every step you take from that bed through your day, you are defining whether you are a success, a mediocre, or whether you are a failure. Every decision is like a chisel mark on the slab of marble of your day. And you will either end up with the David or you'll end up with a pile of rubble at the end of the day. Every phone call that you make, the one that you don't want to make, that you should make, that makes your palms sweat a little bit, every one of those is defining whether you are or are not a success. Every meeting, the choice to come, not come, to be here, to not be here, to this event, is defining whether you are releasing the inner potential you've got inside you. Every single meeting, even though you've done it 100 times, do you go, do you not go? Is it defining moment? And then, Ultimately, you can never own success. I saw all these award winners here on the stage. I see a lot of you who are fantastically successful in this organization. But you can never own success. You can only rent it. And the rent is due every single day.
Nice.
So how many of you have ever been to a seminar, read a book, or a CD program, and on the back of it said, okay, transformational results in 90 days or less, and at the end of 90 days, you did not experience transformational results. Anybody have that experience? Okay, yeah, me too. Why? What is it that didn't work? Well, here's another American myth that I want to clear up. Knowledge is not power. It is the potential of power, but it is not power in and of itself. It's not what you know that determine your results. It's what you do with what you know that determine your results. You see, there are a lot of broke geniuses in our society. A lot of people who know a lot of stuff about a lot of things and are broke because they apply none of it to their personal life. I love this stat here. 44% of doctors who are academically trained professionally dispense the advice of how poor eating and lack of exercise will kill you. 44% of them are overweight. Or as the philosopher Morpheus said, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path, right? So as I go through these fundamental concepts of what entails creating great success, I don't want to have this happen. In your mind, I don't want you to say, oh, I already know that. Instead, I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. Number 1, am I doing that? Because you might know it, but you might not actually be doing it. And the second thing is I'm doing it, but have I mastered it? Have I reached the highest level of execution on that idea? And the third, really most important question to ask yourself is, would my results prove that I've mastered it? Would my waistline prove that I've mastered it? Would my bank account prove that I've mastered it? Would the size of my organization, the intimacy of the relationships in my life prove that I've mastered it? If we called your spouse, would they say, oh yeah, they've in fact mastered all the principles of success? And if you're sitting there going, well, just don't call my spouse, then there's still something here yet to learn, to master, and to apply. As Samuel Johnson said, people need to be reminded more often than they need to be instructed. So if we could just take some things that you've heard or you know in the back of your mind and bring them to the front of your mind, clear of the clutter of all the rest of that confusing and bamboozling stuff and give you a clear pathway towards success. Now we can ignite those principles in your life and you can take them to any height, maybe even one day to the cover of Success Magazine. So I want to give you what I call the operating system underneath which all success is built on top of. It's kind of like this. You could have the world's greatest software designed by the greatest engineers, tens of millions of dollars invested into it. And if you install that software on a computer that has a faulty operating system, what happens? It's buggy, it crashes, it doesn't work. Now the user can often make the mistake of saying, oh, it was that crappy software. That's what didn't work. No. This is the same thing that happens when you read a book. You go to a seminar or you listen to a CD program and it gets installed on your hard drive. The user makes the mistake of saying, oh, that book didn't work, that seminar didn't work. No. It was just installed on a crappy operating system. So if we can get your operating system at world-class standards so that no matter what's installed on it, it will operate at its full potential. Now we can install the leadership software, the sales software, the presentation communication software, the marriage software, the parenting software, the physical fitness, the coaching software, and now it will actually perform to its capability. So that's what we're after here. I want to show you a system that will enable you to achieve goals that when you walked in here this morning, you were too afraid to set. Now, why would you be afraid to set the kind of goals that are actually in alignment with your true potential? Here's my belief. Because you don't see how it's possible. You don't see how you could do it. It just seems fantastical and silly. But I believe that if I can show you an exact pathway, an exact system, an exact formula, all you got to do is connect the dots. All of a sudden, you're empowered and inspired to set the kind of goals that are actually in alignment with your true capability, which is far greater than your current level of performance. So that's what we're after here. This is a working session. I'm not the only one up here working. I encourage you to take notes. You're not going to be able to get this all down. I'm going to go through 200 slides. I want to give you as much as I can in a short period of time. So what I will do later is I'll show you how you can download this whole slide deck. So you have everything here. So let me show you how committed I am to investing in your results. Okay, guys, I love Beachbody. I love the leaders that are a part of this organization. I love what you guys are about. I really do. I'm not just saying that. Okay, so I'll give you a recording of this entire presentation so that you can share with your team. So for now, I just want you to listen really intently and say, what things strike you? What are those aha moments like, that's it? Okay, that was the last number I needed in the tumbler to unlock my potential. Okay, so just really be here with me, figure out what the one or two things, and you'll have all this backup for you later. So here's the operating system, okay? Between you and whatever goal you've got is this operating system. And line item by line item, we're going to rewire the code system to your operating system to get it operating at world-class standards. No matter what your goal is.